About that, 4 in a row. We've got the great Olin Kreutz, we've got Patrick Mannelly, and we got the Bears. Wasn't a perfect game, right? But the Bears are winners, so that's very happy.
Yeah, that's a good win, right? I mean, these are a lot different than what we've done in the past. So it was a nice win to go up 20-0. I think all you can talk about really there's some bad things, but we'll talk about the good stuff. But there was 2 possessions, right before the half and then coming out in the second half and giving up 14 points. But the run game, guys, the run game was amazing. Takeaways again, I was wrong. I said +2. They were +3 in the takeaways with 4 and giving 1 away. Caleb didn't play the best game in the world, right? No, but they still won with that run game. It's a credit to the O-line. This is a game where you've got to get a lot of credit to those guys up front, Coach Roshar and his unit. They dominated that game. What were the stats here? We're 222 yards rushing. DeAndre Swift averaged 6.5 yards a carry. Kyle Monangai averaged 6.2. And then the defense, guys. The defense is playing hard. They are flying around. They look like they're having fun. They're playing aggressive. That's obviously how takeaways come. But what a fun game to watch. What an easy game to watch. I kind of sold at the pregame that this is a better 1-5 team than their record, and scared me there for a second when they scored those 2 touchdowns back-to-back to end the first half and start the second half. But the Bears dominated overall, and that was a fun game to watch.
It really was. It really was. And to win the NFL is hard, and to win 4 in a row is really hard, no matter who you're playing. No matter who shows up at Soldier Field to play. Bears favored to win today, but they go out there again, play fast, physical, tough football is what we watched today, man. And talked about going to the game with the win and the elements. Run the ball, right? Have the O-line take over, put it on the big guys up front. And I think those guys are getting a little bit of a groove, right? Coach Roshar, offensive line coach for the Chicago Bears. Eric Bieniemy, running back coach for the Chicago Bears. A lot of questions first 2 or 3 weeks. What's wrong with the run game? Why can't they get it going? And just kept talking about, okay, maybe they got to get to know each other, get a little more comfortable with the concepts and what they want to run and what they want to ask their guys to do. And what we're seeing now, Pat and Mully, is a run game coming together, right? And really, guys, I know Caleb didn't look great. It didn't play great. And the pass game didn't look great. But the threat of the pass game is there. And you can see it just by the way the New Orleans Saints calls defense, right? It's not like they don't exist, Pat. It's not like you line up and you're looking at goal line defense or short yardage all game. They are giving them favorable run fronts because that is Roma Dunze. That is DJ Moore, right? That is Colston Loveland. That is Swift. And Caleb can get the ball down the field. And he can threaten you with his arm. So all those things need to work together for that run game to look the way it looked. And then, man, that defense and Dennis Allen and what they're doing and covering people and Al Harris, how long are we going to keep him as our secondary coach? That secondary, even with their injuries, very sound, play very fast. Brisker off the edge. Kyler Gordon blitzing, right? Tremaine Edmonds on. 4 takeaways again. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, it's unbelievable, man. I mean, that's 15 in 4 games. They're on a torrid pace right now. Take the win, obviously, week to week. But they look tough, fast, and physical to me out there, man. And they did what they had to do to win the football game.
Hey, Olin, is this 7-on-7 team becoming a physical team? It looks
they
like
really are.
They
really are,
yeah.
Man. And that outside zone, right, with that combination block between Dolman and Jackson. And Jackson took a lot of heat for early on in the weeks, and even today, sometimes his pass pro is in question over there at right guard. But look, man, that run game today with Swift and Monangai coming downhill, and even Komet goes out and injuries they had, and really that inside 3, Tooney and Benedict cutting off the backside, and then Darnell Wright just all game long leaning on guys. Really was fun to watch today.
Olin, correct me if I'm wrong. Ray Diaz and I watched the game together, and we were talking about, and Moose was talking about it, how they're kind of running the same plays over and over, but they're window dressing it with formations, with motions, and all that kind of stuff. Is that what we're seeing? The run, it looks like the same plays, but guys are moving all over the place in the backfield, and that's confusing linebackers, getting them, maybe not sure what's going to happen. But then that simplifies it up front for the guys knowing we're running these same plays. They're still going to line up the same way.
Yeah, we talked about that in pregame, right? That's what they did last week. Talked about how they dressed up their motions and stuff, but it's the same concept for the offensive line, right? They're getting reps at the same blocks, the same looks, how they want to fit in on double teams, how they line back. We saw an early miss on Mario Davis by Darnell Wright on a combo up to the linebacker. Well, if you run it again, he'll get him the next time. Was something that we always said, run that play again. I know how he wants to play that now. And we talked about that's what they did last week coming out of the bye week, right? Coach Johnson said, let's cut the menu down. Let's just put more motions, run different plays out. And then they have just enough special plays, I like to call it, where it's like you run it 2 or 3 times a game and it keeps people off balance. You see what this Zacchaeus, right, end around. Or you see it with it's like a fake jet sweep, bend run play to Swift. And it just keeps the defense just enough honest that they can't play that one play. And it's really what all the really good running teams do, right, Pat? And you know that. I mean, they don't have 50 million concepts. They're really committed to one thing. Everyone knows what they got to do on that play. And it looks like the Chicago Bears, again, for 2 weeks, that's what they've been doing, man. And it was fun to watch. And then that defense just really fast, really physical, and they will hit you when you get the ball out there in the open field.
Real quick, you know what's nice is that we have an offensive genius as a head coach, right, who loves the run game.
Right.
Who's committed to the run game, dressing up the run game, making sure the run game works. I mean, this is a nice thing to be talking about. To talk about, the intricacies of a run game compared to a pass game, and that's how you had to win today. Caleb, like we said, Caleb didn't have his greatest game, but they still dominated. They dominated the line of scrimmage, and a lot of credit goes to Ben Johnson and his offensive staff of dialing up a run game to dominate and win a game.
Yeah, and that's what Ben did in Detroit, right?
Yes.
When he had the number 1 offensive line in the league, and he had 2 really good running backs. But I do want us to make this point: the last 2 weeks, the running game is working, is sound because of the threat of Caleb and the pass game. And they're not great, but just the play calls coming in from the sideline, you see a lot of light boxes. I like to call them. That means you have a guy to block everybody, Pat. Right? And when you're watching the game, you're thinking, man, that is a favorable look for a run play, right? And the fact that Ben would call anything at any time, and Caleb has the arm, and Rome Odunze and DJ Moore, and those guys can threaten you down the field. The fact that you have that threat, even though it doesn't look like they did great today and the yardages don't look great, the threat of it and the play call from the sideline allows you to run the ball.
And as Ben Johnson said last weck, boy, if they ever get those penalties solved, they'll be an awful hard team to beat. They had another 10 penalties, and I don't know how many were pre-snap penalties, but there was 4 or 5 that were that really got them off their timing, and it was difficult. And maybe they got away with a couple things. The whole thing with Jude Dahlman, the center, and the first snap. They were saying that should have been the one where he never snapped the ball. I didn't know if that was like a center fake or something, but he never snapped the ball. It should have been an illegal snap on that play.
Yeah, it should have been a lot of things, but what you're seeing there is the center anticipating the count, and something changes there, right? And I don't know if it's Caleb or Drew was going too early, or Caleb with the motion hold the cadence a little longer, and Dahlman is trying to time the count, which he does on every play. Just gets a little more critical and faster pace down there, closer to the end zone. And I know I've never seen where the ball, obviously I've done a lot of things, right, with the football at the center position, but where I held on to the ball while the play was going, I've never seen. Then he got hit and tackled it. They're trying to make him fumble, and that was kind of a crazy play altogether. But as Pat knows, I've worked with a lot of different quarterbacks in and out, and even during the season, sometimes go to 3 to 4 quarterbacks, and cadences change. And these guys, what is this? They're 6th game together, right? So sometimes they have to go back and still learn from it. But they beat a team, and hopefully they learn. Like, look, man, next time I have this motion, I'm going to hold that cadence just a little bit longer. So don't jump it. Stay patient.
Yeah, guys, we've seen in the past, and we've talked too many times, when there are penalties and issues like that, the Bears can't overcome them. You know what I mean? They're turning the ball over. They're giving the ball back. They're not scoring a field goal. They're the main issues that are causing losses. Now they're overcoming them, which is huge. I mean, what you said, 10 penalties, 92 yards.
Yes.
2 snapping infractions, whatever you want to call them. Got lucky with one to get the 3 points and go up 9 instead of giving the ball back to them. But this is the sign of a good team.
You got lucky with the other one because it sent them back 5 yards and they got the field goal. I mean, those were important points to get at that moment in the game.
Yeah, I know Ben Johnson and his deal of being aggressive, but that to me, to go up 9
Yes.
I don't know. There's some points in the game or some points during the season or whatever it is that just take the points and be a little smart. And I'm glad it didn't bite them. I don't think it would have at the end. I think the Bears just outplayed them no matter what. But that's a situation where just me being the observer, the fan, analyst, whatever it is, take the 3 points there and just make it a two possession game for sure.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes there. Take the points, and Ben doesn't care.
Yes, yes.
I think I wrote. I think Ben should take the points, and then I wrote. I think Ben doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. They did wind up with 222 rushing yards versus 44 for the Saints. I mean, that is a very dominant performance for the Bears in terms of the rushing game, and to see them do it the way they did it with another big game from DeAndre Sweat. I mean, it was pretty sensational to see him get 124 yards, I believe, on 19 carries. Kyle Monunge, he got 13 carries. That's a high in his career. Rookie seventh rounder, and he got 81 yards, also a high in his career. And that was great to see both those guys sort of, used in the way they were used. Even got 11 yards from Roschon Johnson, which we never thought we'd see.
We talked about going to the game, right, that what looked repeatable from the Commanders game, and it was the run defense and running the ball.
Yep.
And that's what showed up again, right, in that run defense. They're fitting in well. Billings continues to play good football since they've inserted him as a starting nose guard. All of them, though, really, their run fits. With T.J. Edwards coming back, Kyler Gordon coming off the edge, Brisker. You heard the Moose mention that, Kellen Moore mentioned that Kyler Gordon comes off the edge really worries him, right, because he's that good at blitzing. And we just see that this team all fitting together and doing those two things along with these takeaways, man. They're hard to beat. They're hard to beat in football, and that's what we're seeing from this Chicago Bears team.
I thought the defense during a sequence there in the first half, they were just so dominant. It was kind of extraordinary to see them, whether it's Brisker, whether it was Gordon. I mean, Montez Sweat had another good game, and we've called him out quite a bit for not having great games. I thought he played well. I thought they got a lot out of that defense. It was really very impressive for a few series there.
I'll be honest with you guys. Last week I joked we have Kyler Gordon and T.J. Edwards back, and the run game is now stopped, right? We're going to stop the run game. Well, they have. They look different, man. Right. They look different. They play – I don't know if their effort – it looks more aggressive. It looks more physical. Just looks like they've turned it up a notch or two, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? They've gone from like an 8 to a 10 or like a 7 to a 9. Their effort just looks a little bit hard, like they're playing a little bit harder. I don't know what it is. They have a little bit more swagger. But those two guys, I mean, they've made a difference. They really have. I didn't know they'd make that big of a difference, and they're fun to watch. You watch Brisker and Gordon come off the edge, it's a lot of fun. And was it Gordon that got the call or Brisker that got the call? He hit the guy too hard, and they called a personal foul.
Yes.
Yeah, I disagreed with that one. I guess he left his feet in the
Gordon,
letter of the law or the letter of the rule or whatever. But
yeah,
I just disagree with that. That's just physical football.
I hated the penalty for roughing the passer on a play when he hit the passer's arm before the ball was released. It changed the trajectory of the pass, and on the follow-through, he hits him in the helmet, and they throw a flag for that? You got to be kidding me. That's all one motion, and the guy's holding the ball when he hit him.
Mm-hmm. I know it's anytime you hit the quarterback in the head, it's a personal foul. I understand that. But I agree with you, Mully. There should be a change. If you're swinging for the football and you actually get a piece of the football, it shouldn't be a penalty, because you're going to cause, a takeaway there, a fumble. And they just to your point, Pat, this defense, man, they have been on fire. And really, they weren't stopping a run. But before T.J. Edwards and Kyler Gordon came back, they were getting still the takeaways. They're still getting.
Yes.
I mean, it's unbelievable to watch the pace that they're on. I mean, that Montez Sweat, the secondary, right? That Montez Sweat fumble. He made the secondary made him the quarterback Rattler hold the ball in the pocket. Billings pushes his guy back. He's got to step up, and Montez punches it out. That must have been about 5 seconds after the snap. I mean, that's how good that secondary is covering there on 2nd and 4. So just really, as a unit, that defense right now, Dennis Allen and all his coaching staff. I mean, that along with just everything you're watching right now, to come back from that, starting 0-2 and go on this run, really, really impressive run right now by the Chicago Bears and what they're accomplishing.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody on the defense is fulfilling the role. I'm talking about Kevin Byard being that senior leadership back there that he has, the senior player. That was a great shot they showed of him reading Rattler's eyes when he's pointing, go left or whatever, and he sees it. He's like, I'm going to get over there and intercept the ball. But that's what a veteran does. And everybody seems like they're playing their role and they're playing to what they're supposed to be playing as. And Dennis Allen has really got this team. He seems like he knows everybody's skill set now and has them all dialed in.
Yeah, he looked like he enjoyed that game. I mean, as much as he held his emotions in check, he seemed at the end like he really enjoyed it.
Well, even the coaches, right, Pat? I mean, when that ball's popping out, they're like, whoa, there it is again. You go on runs like this, you got to enjoy them.
Yes.
Right? You got to enjoy the run that they're on right now. And we talked about going on the pregame show how when you play for a certain coach, he says, look, if you just do this, this will happen. The first couple of times you don't listen to him, you're like, gosh, that's what he was talking about, right? And then you see everyone start to buy in. And this defense has bought into Coach Allen and his staff and what they're selling over there on that side of the ball, because they are all just, okay, this is my job. This is my role. This is the role I feel. This is what I do. And he has asked, TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds to fill different roles, right? To do opposite of what they did last year and to believe in what he's asking them to do. And they've done that. And since TJ Edwards came back, Tremaine Edmonds is a totally different player.
Yeah.
Right. He's lined up perfectly.
I'm going to give you an example, guys. I saw it during the game, and this is just something for me being on the sideline for most of the game. And you're talking about buy-in. You're talking about team buy-in. Torrey Taylor had a punt he put out on the 7 or 8 yard line on the sideline. And I think it was Kyler Gordon or Jaquan Brisker, I didn't know if it was a 6 or 9, is running down the sideline, chasing the punt and celebrating it. You know what I mean? That's the team celebrating each other. That is a true team buy-in. That's when everybody is into the game, every situation. I know it's a little thing, but that's stuff I saw on the sidelines of good teams that cared about everything. They were in on everything. And when I saw that, I turned to Ray again, and I'm like, all right, this team is bought in on everything. They're pulling for everybody. That doesn't happen. That happens on good teams, and that happens on teams that care about each other.
And
Fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a really fun watch. Congratulations to Colston Loveland. He had 3 receptions, which tied him for the team lead with DJ Moore. He gained 24 yards, Moore gained 43, and Roma Dunze had 2 catches along with Manungai had a couple catches, and Olamide Zacchaeus had a couple of catches. So that was good, the way they distributed the ball. But, you just kind of hope everyone is healthy. We saw some guys leave, and we know Cole Kmet left the game with a back injury, did not return. We know that Tyreek Stevenson left the game and could not return and with a shoulder. And he's now gone from a guy who you kind of were wondering where he fit into, oh, no, don't let them lose him. You kind of have a totally different feel for that guy.
Yeah, I mean, when he's in coverage, man, he is all over, though, with that guy, right? He plays physical in the run game. He almost plays in the run game like a safety to me when he hits people and gets after people. So he has really raised his level, I think, under Al Harris' tutelage. We talked about that. Everyone's talked about what Al Harris has brought to that defense, the secondary coach for the Chicago Bears. And I think that Tyreek Stevenson losing him, Mully, like you're talking about, injuries piled up. Cole Kmet, I think, went out. DJ Moore looks like he's a little banged up. So want this team to stay healthy with the run that they're on, because obviously, like we know, they're already missing Johnson, right? And that's the thing you watch in this defense. You're like, man, they don't even have what you consider their best player out there, right? And it's just an amazing run that they're on. And now that this guy is, you don't want to lose both your starting cornerbacks going into the year. That would really be big, like you're saying, Mully. But hopefully he just got dinged up a little bit. and they get good news here on Monday or Tuesday that he's fine and ready to go, because they definitely need him in that secondary.